Today we're sitting down with Vanessa, our eventual travel consultant who recently went on one of our holidays to Cape Verde. We'll be finding out what makes these islands a special destination for a self-guided holiday, from the trails and the scenery to the food, weather and those little details that make the trip unforgettable. So, for anyone who's not familiar with Cape Verde, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, okay, so Cape Verde Islands are situated probably around about 1,000 miles south of the Canary Islands and about 400 miles off the coast of West Africa. It's a collection of 10 islands whereby we visit 2, which are Santa Antao and São Vicente, and that was on my self-guided holiday. On the group-guided holiday we also visit Santiago and also Fogo. So actually it's much bigger than just Boa Vista and Sal, which is what a lot of people consider first of all when they hear of Cape Verde. It was discovered by the Portuguese, I think in the 15th century, and became a slave trading post. So very much has an African feel, but mixed with the European feel of the Portuguese, with Portuguese being the first language and also the development of a Portuguese Creole. So you get to sort of witness both languages, really. So yeah, a nice southern destination with good weather.
Wonderful.
Okay.
And so, can you tell us a little bit about the walking itself? What are the trails like?
The trails are, they're fantastic. A lot of the trails on Santa Antao, for example, are waymarked, so you kind of have an indication already of where you're going. Of course, on the self-guided holiday, you've got an app, you've got a map, although we rarely looked at the map because the app kind of told us everything, and as I say, you kind of get a feel of you're in the right direction. So on Santa Antao, the trails are, they're just a great mix. You've got hardback trails, you've got sort of little water channels that you're navigating along, you've got cobbled paths, which are all handmade, that kind of just sweep down or sweep up. Some small little sharp ascents, long descents, can be dusty, just a real mix, to be honest. And then São Vicente, where we do one walk, is quite sandy, dusty, a bit volcanic because you go to a volcano there, an extinct volcano, Viana volcano, so you get a little bit of an idea of what it's like if you were to go on a volcanic holiday, I guess. I would definitely recommend, because of some of the trails, that if you can take walking poles, they're probably a good idea just to save your knees a little bit.
Yeah.
I ended up sort of self-making one with a bit of bamboo, but
that's cool.
yeah, it was quite cool.
And then you mentioned that it was well signposted and that there was also the app. So did you find it easy to navigate the trails without a guide?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If we ever thought, I wonder which way to go, the local people are so friendly. So they do, you are quite unusual to be walking through these villages, through these places. The only real kind of tricky bits we found was maybe if it was through a village, and we're like, should we go that way? They've maybe changed the colour of the house that we've maybe described, because people can paint their houses. So there'd be somebody who'd be like, it's that way, and you'd kind of get by on a little bit of English. You try a bit of English, but to be honest, we got Google Translate, so we got a SIM card, which I would recommend. Downloaded Google Translate, and that often helped quite a lot. I remember us going along one of the trails, and there was a man with a donkey, and he was kind of trying to walk with us and show us where to go, and then there was some kids and they wanted to talk to us. I'm like, I can't speak Portuguese, and they'd sort of try and speak to us in French. Great, I can use a bit of my my French. So we kind of got by a little bit like that. But yeah, the app, really easy to download. And as I say, you do have the backup of, if you've got a SIM card, you've got access to data. If you really needed it, you would have the office of the backup support of the local agent as well, so everybody uses WhatsApp.
What was the scenery like on the trail? Was it coastal paths, mountain trails, a mix of both?
I think a lot of people, when you'd say to them, oh, I'm going to Cape Verde, oh, what are you going to do in Cape Verde? Are you just going to lie on the beach? No. We're actually going to this island that is, by the photographs, looks really green. So Santa Antao, which is where you do the majority of your walking. I mean, when you're in the interior, it actually felt a little bit like a mini Annapurna because it's fertile terraced land. So you've got all these terraces that are full of agriculture and growing lots of fruit and vegetables. So that's lovely. Obviously on a smaller scale than Nepal, but you still have the jagged mountain scenery that you can see. You've also got some coastal walks, which were amazing with the wild Atlantic coast. I must admit, I never thought swimming in there because the swells were quite big. But, you know, pretty cool. You could see the fishermen going about the business. I mean, just the scenery was more than what I could have ever expected. And then the contrast to that was the first walk that we did, which was on São Vicente, which is kind of the entry point to the other island, was to to walk along the coast, but then to ascend up to an extinct volcano, which was Viana volcano. And again, that just gave you a different perspective and kind of remember that the islands are volcanic. So it's quite nice to have that connection as well. But it's surpassed basically what I thought it might be.
That's amazing.
Basically,
And what was the weather like when you were there?
So the weather was kind of mid-20s, maybe occasionally pushing it a bit more than that. Blue skies, sunny. São Vicente, it was a bit windy. That was windy that day. But the rest of the time quite calm. Had a bit of moisture in the Ribeira Grande area of Santa Antao. But that was not rain, it was just a mist that had descended because it was quite early morning when we set off, and then you'd see that it would lift again. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like time of year, the islands really are an all-round destination. But I would say the most popular time is going to be our winter. So from your November to around about April time. I think August, September probably the hottest. Little bit of rain in September. But yeah, basically all round. But the peak period, you know, November through to April. You want to escape the dark nights here, or the frost, or the cold. Then
pretend it's summer again.
Then Cape Verde's where it's at, basically.
Wonderful. And off the trail, what was the accommodation like?
Oh, it was superb. So I'll start with Mindelo, which was the first place that we stayed. Mindelo's quite a hub. It is sort of a port, basically. So you've got cargo ships and things like this around. But it's quite well populated. There's lots of art around all the walls. I mean, you could say graffiti, but actually it's really is. There's lots of music going on, so it's really vibrant, cool feel. And the accommodation where we stayed had an amazing terrace that you could look right over Mindelo, but you could see also over to Santa Antao. If you stay at that accommodation, fantastic, you know, you've got that. If you don't stay there, you can still go there because it is open to the public to go and use, you know, to have a drink and things like that. So yeah, the accommodation there is great. On Santa Antao, it was a mixture. So we stayed in a casa. So a casa is sort of a collection of rooms. You have a family who look after you, and that was in Chadamote. And it was just myself and my husband, and then the casa owner and the ladies and the gardener and the people who looked after that property. So the food was all sort of homegrown, and it just had an amazing view over these peaky, jagged mountains, nice sunset. Just nice kind of relaxed vibe to it. So you don't have a specific bar or a restaurant, things like that. Just a chilled out place basically in what felt like the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then in Paul, it was a seaside resort. So that we stayed in a hotel. I think there's a mixture of accommodations where we can book, but it was a hotel for us. That was right on the wild sea, balcony, the waves bashing up, things like this. Just a standard clean hotel in a quiet seaside resort. In Ponta do Sol, where you have 2 nights, again it's coastal. It was a big grand hotel, well situated. You could watch where all the fishermen were doing their business, going about gutting the fish and selling the fish, weighing the fish, everything like that. Great views, good standard. You could get your laundry done, had a gym, things like this. And then we went to Tarrafal, which is sort of this relaxed beach place. And that again was probably similar to the Casa in the sense of a collection of rooms. Congregate in the evening if you want to have your evening meal there. A lot of stuff kind of grown around locally. Hammock on our balcony, and just they're all really well positioned. We've, I think, gone through a lot of effort to try and reflect the places that you stay in to give you ultimately the best experience, and also by using local families and businesses, because we want to put back basically. So it really works from that point of view.
It sounds amazing. What were the real highlights of the trip for you then?
Real highlights. Oh, there's so many. We thoroughly enjoyed the first day walk on Santa Antão, which so you get a ferry. It takes about an hour to get from São Vicente to Santa Antão. Get on the ferry, works really, really smoothly, and then you met by your transfer. Then you transfer into the interior for a little while. Oh, picking up your packed lunch first by somebody local who's kind of cooked it in the kitchen. So you go there, and it's a long sweeping path, quite rocky in places, a few drops in places, but eventually you get up to this summit plateau, and you can look right over the plains of Santa Antão, right across to São Vicente and other islands, and it's just an amazing viewpoint. And then, to make it even better, as you're coming down, that's where you get a real example of these cobbled paths that just twist round and round and round and down and down and down, and you're like, whoa, are these ever going to end? But they are amazing to think that somebody has built those, just little cobbles. And that was a real highlight. I mean, one tip I would say about that is, and a lot of the walks, it's not really a destination where it's like you have cafes that you stop off and shops that you stop off. So you need to kind of really think a little bit about being self-sufficient in terms of water. So just make sure that you are taking plenty, you're starting the day with plenty of water, because there aren't lots of opportunities to fill up. So that's probably the biggest tip from that. And as I said, there's just so many. Probably the sunsets as well, like at Tarrafal, at the beach there. Just the sunsets were amazing, and just grabbing a beer and watching the sun go down.
What more could you want?
Yeah.
And then when we think about kit, was there anything that you took that you were really, really grateful that you had, or anything you wish that you had brought with you?
I was really pleased that we packed a water to go bottle, because you can't drink from the taps really, so you are very much reliant on buying lots of plastic bottles. So the water to go allowed us to reduce our need on that basically. So we had a water to go bottle each and another bottle. But I think what I would have done, looking back, is I would have taken water purification tablets.
Right.
Just purely because of the volume that we wanted to drink and have prepared on the route. Because we did do a little bit of kind of squeezing the water into the spare bottles just to make sure that we had plenty of water and not to keep buying all these big plastic bottles. I mean, we took trousers, we took a jumper. We didn't wear them.
Yeah.
We just wore shorts in the evening. It's all very relaxed. The temperatures were nice for us to do that. I mean, and in terms of, I took some sort of like laundry leaves, but actually a lot of the places that you go to offer a laundry service.
Okay.
So we made a decision as we were approaching Ponta de Sol because of where it fell in the itinerary, and because we had 2 nights there, we'd get some clothing popped into the laundry, and really good service, come back to us within the 24 hours, and ready to roll for the rest of our holiday, really. Maybe just think about the time of year you're going as to whether you need trousers or not. You don't need to overpack. Definitely not.
And then if someone's watching this and wondering if this trip is for them, who would you recommend this trip to?
People who like to have a balance in your day, so you do want to feel as though you've had good activity, good walking, but then you have some time to still relax and to absorb the atmosphere, the place that you're visiting, read a book, watch the fishermen, talk to the fishermen, interact a little bit with the people. I think it's good from that if you enjoy that aspect of it. Just if you like a balance, or you might be somebody who, I mean, I suppose I've done quite a lot of harder treks, but it doesn't always have to be hard to get a lot out of the destination, and I think this is a really good example of that the walks were very varied, and you could get a lot out of it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Vanessa, for sharing your experience with us. It sounds like Cape Verde has literally a bit of everything in it. But if there's any questions we haven't answered for you guys, just leave us a comment and we'll get back to you.
Thank you.